Hello everyone, it's me, Monica P. Hall, aka Conduit of Healing, and it is time for our weekly messages for the collective. Okay, so how are you guys doing? How are you doing? Are you doing all right? I know sleeping continues to be a challenge for some of us, and now, as of right now, when I'm recording this video, we are in a Mercury retrograde. And my astrology friends will tell you that's not the only retrograde we're in, so I know things are feeling a lot heavier, a lot harder, and require a lot more time, energy, patience, and effort than it probably has in quite a while. And I know we've been dealing a lot with people transitioning out of here, and we are just over halfway through the month of the first month of the latest year, where it's supposed to be new. I don't know how new it feels, but I mean, here we all are, you know what I mean? And sometimes it's just like that, right? I feel like we in the past may have had all these expectations of what new means, as if new is always supposed to be shiny, exciting, magical. And you know, sometimes it is, but then there's some times where new, it just means another day. New means more challenges dead ahead. Gird your loins and prepare yourself, and do the best that you can. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today. That is kind of what the crew wanted to talk to us about, and what to do with this time, if you will. All right, but before we get started, as always, if you have been enjoying this channel, please make sure you subscribe. Thank you so much to all my new subscribers. I thoroughly am tickled pink. And if you've watched any of the other episodes, you know I have this thing about the color pink, but I am tickled pink that you have subscribed to the channel. To my rock steady crew, who are the people who are always commenting, the people who are always, letting me know what this work does for them. I appreciate you guys so much. I love you. And also, if you're just enjoying this channel, please make sure you're talking to your friends about it. Pass on information, referring. I feel like I'm still way too much of a best kept secret. I don't want to be a secret, guys. I don't want to be a secret that you're keeping from your friends and loved ones. You're getting something from the messages, you're applying the teachings, you're thinking about things differently, you're changing, but you're not telling anybody like who's helping you with this stuff. Show me a little bit of love, you know what I mean? But if at the end of this video, make sure you're hitting the like button too, all right? So let's get into this week's message from the crew. And I want to say that this particular message, the way that it came to me, was really interesting. It was one of those sleepless nights, recently, and the word cope just kept coming up. Coping, the concept of coping, and that is what everyone is trying to do right now. We're trying to cope. Everything from coping, through a pandemic, coping with, the economy, coping with fluctuations of job markets. We're trying to cope with the beginning and ending of relationships of all sorts, whether it be romantic, whether it be family, whether it be friends. There's so much in flux right now, right? Trying to just make it. So the word cope came up. This is what the crew says. All right. The current environment for the collective may seem like discord, chaos, or even madness, but it is not. It is the collective subconscious come to the surface of awareness to be both aired and cleared, rather than endeavoring to simply cope, which is a passive form of acceptance and acquiescence of power. You're being given the opportunity to analyze, to act, upgrade, and heal. There is no coping through times like these. There's only growing beyond the chaos or being consumed by it. Listen, y'all. I want to really talk about this because, in these videos, I've talked to you about change. I've talked to you about healing. I've talked to you about, empathy, compassion, and we've talked about this, but I want to make sure you know where we are right now. I feel like the crew is really nailed, especially right in the beginning of this brand new year of 2022. Anytime you're wrapping up a year, right? Late December, everybody's hopes and dreams, and they want to write their resolutions. And of course, we are living in a capitalistic society that wants to capitalize off of this whole almost illusion of, hope as a commodity, hope as, um, magic in a way. Magic in a way where you don't have to be aware of your part in it. Magic in a way where you can be lazy. Magic in a way where you can, ignore accountability and responsibility and free will and choice. And you know what? It's just not being allowed anymore, guys. So the crew wanted me to really let you know that all the horrible things that we're seeing, everything from democracy being threatened to, the continued ongoing fight for equality on so many different fronts for so many different people, the continued issue of people just having the basic human rights being threatened. This isn't new stuff, guys. What's going on isn't new. If you really think about it, this isn't new. It's like what the crew said. This stuff has always been here, but we've always had the distraction, the money, the things, the stuff, the people, the events, the ability to run away from this stuff, the ability to distract ourselves from these real problems. And now we are in a time where these real problems, honestly, are the only thing worth talking about. One of the things I have to say I'm really glad about is that before this has kind of hit the fan, we were already talking about mental awareness, emotional awareness. We'd already kind of brought that to the forefront. So those of us who might have been struggling before in silence, I'm hoping that because mental health and emotional health have come to the forefront of our consciousness, have come to the forefront in terms of social conversation, and a lot more help is available, and a lot more people are, helping one another work through it, or at least express it, so that they can begin the work of healing or managing, whatever it is. I'm glad that came first. Because if it hadn't, and we were going through what we were going through right now, I just honestly feel like it would have been even more messy. So this isn't something that we should cope with. This is the time to truly look at ourselves, look at the decisions that we've made. And I can't tell you how many times in my psychic readings I'm talking to people about choices that they made 10, 20 years ago, and how they're now questioning all those choices because the payoff, the result, the life that they built is not fulfilling. Whether it be their partner, whether it be where they live, the city, the town, the people they're surrounding themselves with, their friends, the person that they decided to be because they thought it would make their life easier or more comfortable. All those things are coming into question now. And here's the thing. Not only is this the time for it, but this is the time to come up with answers to those questions. And please, I'm asking you, if really you have been thinking like, is this the right person for me? Is this the right job for me? Is this the right career for me? are these the right people I should be surrounding myself with? Everything from, should I be dealing with relationships and situations that I've been dealing with for so long and they've been a detriment to me? Like, I'm tired. Is this now the time to let it go? Um, you know, I've tried to fit in. I've tried to live up to society's standards. And, honestly, that's really a moving goalpost. Because every time you feel like you've arrived in society, they move the goalposts further out. The money that you had that was a good amount of money yesterday is not enough money today. The ability of everything from home ownership, that goalpost is moving. Your health, the ability to afford health, your relationships, the person that you chose yesterday may have changed up on you, or you changed up on them, and it's not working anymore. Can you find a way to grow back together, or at least create enough loving space so that the other person can grow and give you the opportunity to grow back together? This stuff is like, what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like a hurricane offshore, and they dumped everything that is at the bottom of the ocean onto the shore. And now you're left to deal with what could be the smelly, stinky carcasses of everything you thought you had buried. That's what this time is for right now. Listen, I know it feels like it, but we're not always going to be in this big pause, okay? And one of the things that Mercury retrograde actually does give us the opportunity to do is to reevaluate. Those of you who have been pushing, your own personal narrative of a life that no longer really fits you anymore, I know you're exhausted. I know you're tired. It's at this point, it should probably feel like, Atlas trying to carry the world on his back and trying to get to a mountaintop. You just wish you could put it down. And I and the crew would like to suggest you do exactly that. Put it down. If it's not yours anymore, put it down. If they're not the right people for you anymore, let them go. And I'm not saying that this is an easy decision. I'm not saying that it's a painless decision. I'm saying this is where we're at. You can either live a lie or you can live the truth. And it's like what the crew said here. You can either grow beyond the chaos or you can be consumed by it. Now let's just go back to Atlas, the whole idea of Atlas here. One of the potentials when you're carrying the world on your shoulders is if you cannot carry it anymore, if you don't put it down and it gets too heavy, you could get crushed. How many of you are on the verge of being crushed by your own lives? Decisions that you made 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. And you, at the beginning, yeah, I can do this. It's totally fine. Everything will be fine. Everything will be great. Yeah, I have the energy for it. And energy meaning not only physical energy, but, mental capacity, emotional capacity, desire, passion. And, we have lived through a time and are living through a time where everything that you were carrying that was too heavy just became 10, 20 times heavier. Do you want to continue to carry abusive relationships, abusive people, jobs that take all your talent, take all your time, take your life force, take your energy, and still they don't pay you enough to even dream about an American dream so much as live one? You want to keep doing that? Or is there some sort of wild notion that you've always had, or some, future endeavor that you were going to do at retirement or at some other point in life, and you thought, I'll wait till then because it'll be safer for me to do it then than it is now, right? So what happened to safety? Well, reality set in. Whatever you want to do, whatever you were going to do when you had time, the time is now to do those things, because we are living in such a new world. And like I said, new doesn't necessarily mean bright, shiny, wonderful, great. New just means different than what you were expecting. And this is definitely one of those times where it's like, oh, I wasn't expecting this. And yet you could be using your abilities as a creative being in harmony with the universe that says, listen, we're going forward, whether you like it or not. So I suggest you adjust your attitude accordingly. Is there any way for you to begin building your future that you had longed about, dreamed about? Is there any way for you to start taking those steps right now? Are there some classes that you should be taking? Do you need to start doing some networking right now and laying the groundwork? Do you need to be doing some research, whether it's on a product, whether it's on a service, whether it's finding business partners, whatever it is, could you be using this time to plan, to prepare, rather than sitting there and being sad about what was and will likely never be again? Okay? For some of you, you didn't even start thinking about yourself as a spiritual being until we were all dealing with mortality at such a high level and such a high rate, per this global pandemic, that you didn't even think about yourself as a spiritual being. And now, for a lot of us, our spiritual well-being is the only way we're going to get through this time. Whether it be you had a bunch of stuff, a bunch of things, and then there's a pandemic, and so you lost your job, or you lost your home, or there was a natural disaster. There's been fires, there's been hurricanes, there's been tornadoes, and maybe in your case, those things never affected you directly, but it affected someone. So we're all kind of in the same place where it's just like we're all being, and I'm sure it feels this way because sometimes it feels like this to me too. You're just being smacked up. Every time you look around, you're just either being slapped, you're being hit, you're being tripped, you feel like you're being jumped on, and you can barely kind of catch your breath. But believe it or not, this really is the universe trying to strip away the stuff that you don't need. And we are feeling like we're getting our asses kicked because we're trying to hold on to stuff and people and things and modes of living and modes of thinking and ways of being that are no longer serving us. Some of us are absolutely terrified to be reborn while we're still alive. And what do I mean by that? I mean transform. For example, I find that myself specifically, I've always known that I'm half introvert and half extrovert. And if you knew me in real life, you'd be really surprised to know that I'm actually half introvert. And maybe when you look at these videos, you're going, how could that possibly be? I promise you it is. I promise you it is. I've always been very sensitive in terms of being in crowds. I've always been very sensitive in, to being out in the public for too long or too much, or being overwhelmed with energy. That's always been the case. So for me, this time, along with everything else, right, this time has really been wonderful for me to really express myself as an introvert. I enjoy being alone. I know some of you don't like it. I know. Some of you don't like it. But guess what? This is the opportunity not only for you to make peace with spending time alone with yourself, but also get to actually know yourself. Discover yourself, learn things about yourself, observe yourself, keep a journal, write down your thoughts, express your thoughts, meditate, do yoga, and create things, have important conversations with people that you in the past never felt like you had enough time to check on them or them check on you. Or if you were talking to them, you weren't really listening so much as waiting for your turn to talk. This could be the time where you do an entire system overhaul if you just take the opportunity being given to you. Now, I know it's easy for me to say that. If I'm not in your position, maybe some of you, don't have work right now and you're worrying about how you're going to make it financially. But here's something else to think about. If you were in one type of industry and you can't find something in that industry, this might be the time for you to switch industries. This might be the time for you to make that career switch that you didn't think that you were going to ever be able to do because you were too old or, you didn't want to start over, blah, blah, blah. Hello, a lot of us are starting over right now. We got a whole collective, we got a whole global community that are starting over together of how do we live in this new now. So you're not alone. And so this really is an opportunity for you to stop, be quiet, evaluate, observe, listen, find the tools, have meaningful conversations with yourself, with your loved ones, with your kids, with your friends, with your parents. This might also be a great time for you to have difficult conversations, to mend fences with, people that you haven't been able to speak to in a long time. But there's a lot of opportunity for us to reshape the entire world right now, one person at a time. And a lot of us are too busy complaining, bemoaning yesterday. Like if we complain about it enough, if we cry about it enough, if we, whine about it enough, somehow we can, bring back 2012 through, 2014, the Obama years, basically, if you're in America. Where things really seemed a lot more possible. Maybe racial tensions didn't seem as high. And I'm putting that in air quotes because as a Black woman, I can tell you they've always been really high. They just weren't up in everybody's faces and they couldn't escape it. Okay? Or you didn't have to learn new pronouns about how to address a person. You didn't have to really apply yourself moment to moment in daily life. And now you do. But here's the thing, if you want a better world for yourself, for your children, for your friends, for all of us, for your family, moments like these have to happen. These are the breaking points that everybody says we're going to come. There's going to be a breaking point. We're in a breaking point. We're in a breaking point. Things must change. We must change. This is from here. We must evolve. Somehow, on some level, we must evolve. All right? So that's what's going on right now, you guys. Slow it down. Stop trying to run back to yesterday. You can't go get it. Stop trying to distract yourselves. Some of y'all are going out there and you're getting infected with the latest variant because you can't stand the idea of being home one more moment, minding your business, and basically doing your own work on your spirit, mind, and body. So you're going out there and you're looking for distractions in the form of entertainment, whatever that means to you. And you're getting sick. I mean, hello. You know what? Namaste on that. Because it is a free will situation if you want to run out there and get sick simply because you can't stand the idea of being bored in your house and alone with yourself. Namaste. I mean, because that is you exercising your free will. I'm just saying, if you go and you get sick, regardless of whether or not it's a coronavirus or if it's the flu or if it's a cold, when you're laying flat on your back and you can't do anything else, you know what we do, right? We sit there and we think about life. And I feel like it's just such emotional and spiritual, immature approach. We swear we're adults. We swear that we have the ability to deal with difficult things until those things are defined by our skeletons in the closet, our fears, our vulnerabilities, our shortcomings, things we don't like about ourselves, things we absolutely detest about ourselves. You know, when the real comes out, all of a sudden people are like, I'm gonna go to a concert. I'm gonna go to the movies. I'm going out to dinner. I'm gonna go to a bar. But when you're laying there sick and you don't really have any options, yeah, that if you find that's when, you know, all of a sudden your thoughts are coming, your conscious is speaking to you. In a lot of cases, spirit's like, hi, do you have time to talk about your spirit and your spiritual well-being? Making a joke, but not really. A lot of you are not sleeping, and like I said, you know, in the last video, I gave you a whole bunch of tools that could help you not cope, but evolve. Okay, so if you didn't watch the last video on why we're not sleeping, go back to that one and then watch this one again, and you'll see how all of these things are really working together. Thankfully, the crew does not really tell me what we're going to talk about every week until like I'm writing down a message like this. But guys, it's not going to get easier. Okay, we're going to get better at managing this and ourselves in this. We are going to upgrade and change and grow and ascend, but the cosmos has spoken, the universe has spoken. We are going forward, and we might have to just regurgitate all our collective shit together, vomit it all up, so that we can clear the energy, collectively speaking. Okay? So think about this. Stop creating busy work. Stop stirring up chaos because you're bored. Deal with the stuff that you have been putting in the back of your mind, putting on the back burner, you know, stuffing in the closet in your mind, not speaking about, not giving your attention to, not putting energy. Now's the time. Do it. Okay? Seriously. Because when this time is over, you're going to see a huge, almost palpable divide of the people who did their work and are evolving, and the people who didn't do their work and who are moving closer and closer to being irrelevant, almost to the point where they're invisible, if that makes sense. And if it doesn't, meditate on it. If you're moving forward, you're still encouraging, welcoming, and seeking life. And if you're moving backwards or not moving at all, you're going to watch life go right past you. And nobody's stopping to make sure you're doing what you need to do in order to move forward. So think about this. Really think about this. There's no reason for all of us not to be taking the time to do our own work. There's no reason. None of us are that busy. Even if you're in the shower, a lot of people talk to spirit in shower, or spirit tries to talk to them. If you're, falling asleep, if you're laying there meditating, if you're just alone with your thoughts, it's relentless. The universe is relentless. Spirit is trying to talk to you. Your guides are trying to help you. Stop resisting, lean in, do the work, heal, grow, ascend, move forward. I can't stress it enough. So anyway, that's going to be everything for today. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, if you have liked what we've been talking about here, please make sure you're hitting the like button. I never know what the future message is going to be, but I just assume and trust spirit that it's going to be something that somebody needs to hear at the time they see it. So make sure you're subscribing to the channel. Also, again, share these messages. If you're on social media, hit one of the links. I would love for you to share these messages on an Instagram or a TikTok or something like that. And also, if you're not following me on social media, I am on Instagram, I am on TikTok, I'm on Tumblr, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook. The last screen always lets you know where you can follow me. And also, I've made healing accessible, okay? Conduit of Healing Body and Tea, Reiki infused products, healing teas, healing body balms, room spritzers, and candles. I'm trying to help all of you make this transition of ascension as smooth as possible. And always, if you need to book a reading with me, please make sure you're going to my website, conduitofhealing.com. If you need some Reiki, just like Monica, help me with my mind. It just won't shut up. It just won't be quiet. Again, these services are here for you. Just let me know how I can help you. Okay? Thanks so much, everyone. I appreciate you. Mwah. I'll see you next week. Namaste.